the night one main event, which is now, well, been official for just over a week, which is Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. This one's had a lot of differing opinions online, as if anyone's shocked by that. Online, talking nonsense.
Who'd have thought?
I'm shocked. I can understand some of it. I still think it's going to be great, and I still think it definitely deserves the main event. What are your thoughts on this one?
Might get a bit of hate for this, but I think I agree with what Seth said when they were doing the contract signing. It doesn't really deserve it.
Well, yeah, that
seems a bit of a it's not a title match.
No.
It's not a Royal Rumble winner who should main event WrestleMania, lest we forget. And I don't think either are.
No.
And it's just like, oh, here, Punk, here you go. Oh, have this that you've always wanted.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like he's not really worked towards it. Maybe a bit for me.
I think, if you look at the body of work he put in last year, obviously outside of his injury, I think, if he'd have come back the November just gone and got in the main event, fair enough. I would say yeah, but I think he's done some good stuff. I think he's, he hasn't won any titles yet. I think now's
good.
I think now's probably the time to do it, because I don't think he's main eventing next year. So I think it's just a kind of, you could argue he probably should have had a main event when he was in the company the first time round.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah,
definitely.
But he didn't, and that's obviously Vince's fault. So yeah, I can see why, just to kind of give it to him. Maybe because they're doing, Rock and Roman next year, or Rock and Cody next year. So yeah, I can see it from both sides.
Technically it is a main event, but
it's not closing the show, is it?
Yeah, Heyman said you're closing the show. You're closing a show. One of two.
Yeah, they kind of mix and match, don't they? And what you said earlier, neither Royal Rumble winner is headlining WrestleMania. That's the first time it's ever happened when it's a two-night Mania. So every single two-night Mania so far has had a Royal Rumble winner main event. This one hasn't. Because it's Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair. What did you expect? You know what I mean?
They kind of, they made their own bed there, really.
Yeah, if CM Punk won the Rumble, you'd probably main event. You know what I mean?
That would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Punk's finally properly earned his main event.
But, the fact
this kind of just feels like he's been, here you go.
Well, the fact that he didn't win the Rumble means that obviously he's not politicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's towing the line. He knows, he's at that stage of his career now where he knows what's best for business. And, maybe him winning the Rumble, give it to Jey Uso, give him some shine. Fair enough. But, we're here. This is the main event of night one. The story for me here is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is the most interesting thing about this feud. And I've seen some chatter about and I've thought about this as well, is the Seth Rollins question. And there's been some talk about whether we could end up seeing Paul Heyman side with Seth Rollins as a swerve. And I've seen some people say it wouldn't make any sense, and some people say that it would just be done for shock's sake, but I think it makes total sense. I don't see why people... Well, because if you are Seth Rollins and you hate Roman Reigns and you hate CM Punk, and all you've seen over the past couple of weeks is this tug of war between Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, all Seth Rollins has to do to ruin both of them is get into Paul Heyman's ear, convince Paul Heyman that they are treating you as property, and offer him a way out to be Seth Rollins' wise man. And what better way to get revenge on the two people you hate than taking away what both of them love the most? I think that could be a good angle, and I think that makes all the sense in the world, and it facilitates a Seth Rollins full heel turn as well.
I see where you're coming from.
So I don't think it's happening, but I don't think it's an outlandish idea.
No, it's not too out of space, but I mean, Heyman's best friends with Punk, so he claims, and he loves his tribal chief,
Mhm.
so he claims.
Yeah.
Unless that's all absolute nonsense, which would be genuine shock, I think.
Well, I think, yeah, but
I
it
mean,
could be a stage of realization. I mean, we could get in the match, we could get Roman, and I think in the match we could get a proverbial tug of war between Roman and Punk for Paul Heyman. And they could both get angry with Paul Heyman. And they could both get physical with Paul Heyman because he's not. Paul Heyman's kind of, between the two, and Roman gets physical because he's not, and Punk gets frustrated with him. And then you kind of see a way out, don't you? Seth right there, and Seth might have got in his ear beforehand. I think it would be good. So different. We'd have Roman without a wise man for the first time in 5 years. It accelerates the Punk and Rollins feud.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah.
And it's a great vehicle for a Paul Heyman and a Seth Rollins heel turn. But I don't think it's happening. I don't know what's happening. Who do you think wins?
Tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, if Heyman does side with Rollins, then it's got to be Rollins.
Yeah.
Because what's the point otherwise? But if he doesn't, probably Reigns.
Roman winning another Mania main event. Could happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think Seth's going to win. Irrespective of Paul Heyman. I can just see Seth pinning Roman or something. Retribution.
Yeah.
Kind of like, some closure for Seth. Because he hasn't beat Reigns in God knows how long, has he? Well, apart from a disqualification. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10 for me, this one. What about you?
I'm more around a 6, I think.
6? Yeah, each to their own.
Yeah.
What does Jeff think? The triple threat match has been a slow burn turned chaotic masterpiece. The seeds were planted with Punk's return, Rollins' lingering resentment, and Reigns' shift to a conflicted babyface. It picked up steam after a heated confrontation on Raw, where Punk's mic shot of Reigns and Rollins' interference turned into a powder keg. Paul Heyman's ambiguous loyalties have been the X factor, with teases of betrayal keeping fans guessing. He's gone for a 7 out of 10. So 6, 7, and an 8.
3.